Hey, Candy, I am going to go through a little bit of training. So you you should have a login, and I'm gonna just put this here, and I'll zoom in and out. So hopefully things will be um, like easier to see for you because I know this is it's really small in my screen. So all right, so this is basically the website address that you should always use. You can use WP-login. That's another option. But I always just use admin, WP-admin. And just save it, bookmark it, put it somewhere you won't lose it. And you can always get there. I just kind of bookmark it. By the time I type in your URL, it's already saved here, so it usually goes pretty quick for me. So anyway, it's WP-admin with the forward slashes where you want to go. And then what I'm going to do is right now, actually, I'm going to send you a password update, which is going to your Yahoo. Maybe that's the problem. That could be our problem. I'm going to send a password reset to this. And you can use, let me zoom in here. Um, you can use the email address or Candy Space Long with capital C and capital L. I'm going to send this reset as your login. So, um, what will happen is you'll end up here. I'm going to put admin here, and you'll see it just changes. Yeah, so it goes to WP-login. Doesn't matter. I just use admin. I've been using it for 15 years. So you get this here, and like I said, you can use um, Jason Roby, which is obviously you don't want to use that, but I use Jason Space Roby, and you would use Candy Space Long um, with capital C and capital L, and that will get you in there. If this email doesn't work anymore, um, just send me an email, and I'll put it. I think it's Candy at Daydreams, so we can change that. We can delete this user and change it. So, okay, let's get to the good stuff. So, you have a couple different ways of approaching this. One thing that let me go back over here. So you're using Beaver Builder. So we have the Beaver Builder theme, and if we go to plugins, we have the Beaver Builder Pro. So that is in your brain. That's a word to remember is Beaver Builder, and it will help you out down the road. So you have two ways to get in there. One thing, I'm going to go back to normal size. This is all your page. I just clicked on the word pages here and it defaults to all pages. So here's all the pages. We obviously have a ton. We created a bunch of special pages. Winter specials, weddings, whatever, ladies' night. So we can go in and change all of these pages. So you can get there from here. And the most important thing for you to remember is when you're mousing over these, you can see how those little tooltips always show up. As you're mousing over them, you only ever want to click on Beaver Builder. Don't click on the name. Don't click on edit. Don't click on quick edit that does that. Um, you can click on view if you want, which shows us the page, which is great. But just always, if you go to the list of pages, always click on Beaver Builder. And then what I always do is I'm going to open up this page. So I'm sorry, before I do that. So the first thing I do, and the thing I tell every single person to do, is when you're here, right click with your mouse. And if you're doing this on a tablet or a phone, obviously you can just delete this video because it'll never be any help to you whatsoever. This is a desktop on a computer with a monitor. So I right click and say open up a new tab. So now I can edit this page because I'm in a new tab. And then when I'm done with this, I can go back to my list of pages. It just saves you having to go, click on Beaver Builder and then make your changes and then hit the back button and come find out where you were. It's just, I always open up in a new tab. So I'm going to close that. So that's one way to get there. Look at your list of pages, click on something, You know, services probably is a decent one, but again, I just made the mistake of clicking on it. So, um, well, actually, let's use that. So if you do click on the About page because you forgot, this looks really scary and weird and looks nothing like your page. You always want to launch Beaver Builder. If you use the standard editor, it will break your page. So again, Beaver Builder is our theme, it's our plugin, it's what we use for everything. So if you hit launch Beaver Builder, it will launch the Beaver Builder for the About page, just like we saw earlier, and you can change that. And now, because I didn't click new tab, you're kind of stuck, and I don't know where I am, and I'm confused, and everything else. So I don't mean to keep reiterating this, but yeah, click on pages and then Beaver Builder. Now, if you happen to find yourself on the front of the site, which is a wonderful place to be, and you're digging around near the contact page or the local page or the Daydreams page or whatever, I'm going to go to the local page. Actually, I'll go to this page. Any page on the entire site, I'm going to go back to local. You'll notice that up here, you have to be logged in, obviously, but up here, Beaver Builder is always there. There's a bunch of other stuff like edit page that we don't ever want to click. Beaver Builder is where we live. So any changes ever on the site, ever, is Beaver Builder. And that can be the mouse over. I know I'm like beating a dead horse here. Mousing over and clicking it here. Obviously, open a new tab if you want. Or when you're on the front of the site, logged in, you can just hit Beaver Builder. So let's see what happens. I'm actually going to go and show you the pricing because that's what you asked about. But this is just a conceptual thing. So all I want you to remember here is we obviously can't touch the header because that's separate. We're just touching the page itself. So if I mouse over this blue thing, which is inside of the gray one, right? You can see this one's blue and that one's gray. If I mouse over this and I just go to the gear icon, which is, I'm sorry, the wrench icon, it shows me that I can change the text editor. So this tells me that I'm in a text editor. If I go up to this one up here, this says row settings and row width and row column and blah, blah, blah. We obviously don't want to be messing with the row. We want to mess with the text editor, and that's this guy here. So if we go back to, let's go to spa treatments. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Same exact thing. I'm going to click on Beaver Builder. You can actually open that in a new tab if you want. I just right-clicked on that. And then you'll see the same exact thing here. You see this one's blue, and that's a text editor. If I go up to this one, that's a row. We don't want to mess with the row, so let's just leave it alone. And then if I scroll down, you notice that it never changes. This whole thing is one big text editor. So if we go to a different page, let's go to maybe hair care. I'm going to edit this with Beaver Builder as well. I'm going to click that. Yeah, that whole thing is a big text. Oh, here's another one down here. So here's a text editor down here. And I'm just mousing around. I'm not clicking anything. Here's a text editor down here. Put my mouse that says text editor settings. If I go up to this one, this whole thing is, you can see the whole thing is surrounded in blue outline. And that's a text editor as well. So, all right, let's go with spa treatments. So I'm just going to start from scratch. I'm going to go down to, well, so we have spa packages and spa treatments. Maybe we don't know which is which. So again, I would just go to the front of the site. Services, spa treatments. Now I know I'm in the right spot. And as always, I'm going to right click in a new tab. Open up my Beaver Builder. This is all, oops, get out of there. So this just made my text editor huge. So I'm grabbing the corners just like everything else you've done on a computer your whole life. You can grab computers. You can grab the corners and you can resize things. It's super handy. I like making things really large so I can work on them. But anyway, same exact thing. We hit Beaver Builder. Now we have a row and now we have a text editor. I'm going to click that and it looks very similar, right? It looks very similar to what you see out here. And so you can see like nails and waxing. You see all the stuff down here. Now, you will notice that these guys have little dots around them. And all that means is that this is a table. This is something a little bit special, and we should be a little more careful. Everything up here is just like Microsoft Word. It's a WYSIWYG text editor. You can just start typing, and if I hit save, that would be on the front of the site. It's just easy as pie. You do want to be careful, you know. I'm clicking around here, but if the foot soak is now a $50 treatment, then I'm just clicking my mouse in here and I'm making that $50. That's it. I'm probably going to add a space in here as well. I don't know why there's not a space in there. I'm going to add a space here. I'm going to add a space up here. So yeah, so that's how you would change that. I'm going to put this back to 40. And then hit save. So you have a two-step save process. So we've just changed this to, let's pretend we just changed that to $50. You click save down here, and that has saved your text editor. If you remember this one, we only have one big text editor on this one. And then up here, you just have to hit done and publish. And you're done. And you're actually out of the Beaver Builder editor. So again, click on Beaver Builder. This opens up. I can see that this is my text editor. Click that. It looks very familiar. If I want, I can make it bigger. I have a huge monitor here, so you can make it bigger. Then you can scroll down to whatever you want to change. Hit save. Hit done. And hit publish. Now, something that's important to note here is that, let's just say you come in here and, you know, you come in here and you like delete this by mistake. Oh crap, I deleted a bunch of stuff. What did I do? Everything's broken. Oh no. This is really easy to get out of. The first thing you can do down here is just hit cancel. And if you hit cancel, it puts it back the way it was. Awesome sauce. Now, let's just pretend that I'm going to grab the code here because I don't like retyping things. All right, so let's just pretend again that we deleted a bunch of stuff. Oh crap. And we saved it. Oh crap. Now this is all that's left. The last resort you have here is you can hit done and discard. And that says, all right, don't save anything I just did. And look at that. Everything's back. So again, you can make a change in here and you can hit cancel. But if you happen to hit save, you're too far in, you can, when you hit done, you can hit discard. So there's two ways of backing out of your trouble. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is on this one. Like I said, these things look a little bit different. You can come in here and change your price or change some text. The only thing I would say is just be very, very careful. Don't come in here and hit enter, because this is a table. I'm going to show you the code, which is going to look really gross and terrifying. But I also do often tell clients to come in here and change their websites in here versus visual. It's not actual code. It's just HTML. But just know that you can, if you're nervous about these lines and hitting enter or something, you can just come into code, and it's very easy to figure out. Like, you know, this is the gel manicure, and it's $30. So you can come in here and change these guys just as easily as you did in the visual section. It just shows you what this is. A TD is called a table data. This whole thing is a table. It has a height and a width, you know, it's all the HTML that I live in. But just know that you can edit in the visual side or on the code side. And it'll work just as well either way. All right. I am going to back my way out of this. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to hit discard. Do you really want to discard? Yes, I do. Go away. Okay, cool. So that's literally almost every change that you're going to have to make is going to be Beaver Builder. Find the right, this is all one big text editor. I'm going to click on the little wrench, and there we go. Now, there's a bunch of stuff inside these text editors that you can play with. Like under style, you can play with the font and the style and the spacing and the text shadow, and you can come into advanced and give it an animation, and there's just all kinds of fun stuff you can do in here. I have a feeling you're probably not going to mess with that stuff. You're just going to play in here with your on-site packages, blah, 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 and make some changes to your text. We can go to code here just as easily. You see everything is aligned center. This is really messy, right? Like really ugly, but if you did happen to come in here, you'd know that, all right, I can change 20% to 25% or whatever, but in general, you're probably going to stay right in the visual editor. All right, I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to done and discard that. All right, I think I have rambled on enough. I don't think there's anything else that I can think of that you need, but for sure, give me a call, send me an email, whatever works for you, and I can help out with specific questions you got. All right, we'll talk to you soon.